Back in session. Okay, going back to the nomination for fire chief, Mr. Tanzini.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to, I have nominated Deputy Chief David T. Dickey to be the next chief of the Templeton Fire and EMS Department. I would ask for your approval of that appointment, subject only to completion of the pre-employment physical and the final negotiation of the contract in substantially the form as presented to you here this evening, subject to final town council approval. I expect those to be worked out in the next 3, 4, 5 days, and this appointment would be effective with a start date of April 1, 2017.
So moved.
Okay. Thank you. I have a second? I have a second. Any other discussion concerning the fire chief? The appointment of the fire chief? I see none. John?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Congratulations, Chief Dickey.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
We have a lot of work to do.
We will get started.
Roger. Any citizen issues at this time? Yes, Mrs. Toth.
Do you guys have an update on the audit?
On the audit?
Well, on the, getting the books ready and everything else, is that,
I can give you an update if you like one.
I would.
Absolutely. Do you have something to add on the,
I can just get
absolutely.
the
Yep.
update. The field work, everything is completed for all 4 years. The auditor is currently working on the financial reports to get draft reports to us. Hopefully, he's thinking by the end of next week, we would then be able to review those. And then he would give us, we would give him, we'd make the final, and then potentially, we talked like the end of April, he would have the management letter completely finished, and there would be an exit conference for the community. So, looking at hopefully being done by the end of April, we would be done with everything in time for town meeting.
Great. Thank you so much. That answer your question?
Mhm.
Awesome. Any other citizen issues? I see none. Board and staff member comments? Do you have anything?
Yeah, so I just want to go back to where we were in the discussion before we had the poll hearing. So I want to
Oh,
know.
yes.
Um,
On the 30B stuff.
well, I'm not really sure I had said where I wanted to go with this, but I mean, has everybody read the email, the board?
Yeah.
Any issues, any non-issues? I mean, I had asked for the contracts to be made public. I mean, obviously, there's
No.
been no time to do a memorandum. And if they're not made public, this is a public records request, I want them.
Yeah.
Um,
The only issues I have with anything at this point is staffing. We don't have enough staff to manage, all the multiple public records requests that we have. I mean, we
Well, I
wouldn't
can
have
come in and copy them.
Okay, well, that's fine. I'm
Is
I'm
that
good with
acceptable?
I mean, I don't know, that'll be up to the TA at this point. I mean, day-to-day operation stuff, but, I personally don't have an issue with that, but I mean, that's like the biggest concern that we have is the manpower that we have. We don't have the manpower to produce massive amounts of documentation as requested sometimes, and sometimes and we have to have that time frame of 10 days, so, you only have 10 days for a FOIA request, so.
Okay, so if this was considered a public records request, it's been over 30.
Was it a public records request?
Well, I asked for certain things.
Okay, yes, Mr. Tenzini.
Can I speak to that quickly, Mr. Chairman? You all call me from time to time or stop in, and if there's something that we can do quickly, get you a document quickly, get you an answer quickly, I think the staff has shown that it tries to turn things around fairly quickly. On this issue, when something becomes voluminous, and will take a lot of time, a lot of effort, I do have to sometimes say to a board member, this is, if the board itself wants to vote to do this, then by all means, the staff will do it. And so that's why it's basically in front of you tonight, because without a vote of the board to do it, we are going to have to consider it a public records request. I didn't construe it to be that at the time that it was submitted.
Okay. All right. Which contract, are you talking about all the contracts that have been produced into, and how far back are we talking? Are we
Well,
ta-
I just would like to get a handle on where this was truly at. Or we need to put as the next agenda item to start working on procurement. You know, what is the number? Right now it's at 50. I would like that lowered to 25. I mean, I'll start working on it. We need a policy, period. And I want,
yeah.
I want to work on the policy then before, you know, the auditors come, period.
Okay.
Not that they haven't been here, but that before we have a management, you know, letter.
Okay. So, let me write this down.
So if it's acceptable to the rest of the board, then I'll just come in. Am I allowed to look at the contracts?
Well, they're public documents, why wouldn't you?
Okay, then, I'll just come in and look at them.
All right, so are you gonna work on the policy for procurement?
Yep.
And, okay.
Yeah, I think it's critical.
Procurement and all contracts, because again, you can probably put those two together.
It's not really a motion. Do I have to make a motion for that?
If you're looking for,
Can I just look at them? Nobody has to copy
absolutely.
them? Okay,
Yeah, you
great.
can look at it.
Absolutely.
And I'll just start on the,
But having that policy is gonna be huge too. I mean, and there's definitely a lot of stuff online, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's a lot of stuff that's out there.
we have to just have our own internal
Yes.
controls based on, you know, numbers. Just because the state says that it's 50,000 and 10,000 doesn't mean that we should not be asking department heads to put stuff in at a lower amount. We cannot have this, you know, happen again, and that there are controls. Every contract needs to come before the board. And I still would like more consistency with who's gonna sign contracts, a TA or the chairman of the board, and we should make that consistent.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, we always give it to the, you know, town administrator, and that way, you know, there's no confusion as to, oh, well, he's gonna sign, well, is the board chairman gonna come in, and then it doesn't get signed.
Understood.
That's any and everything.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying, unless there's some statute that says for a note or for a, you know, that someone else has to do it, so I'll just work on that.
Okay, that sounds great. So we can
I
put,
would send it to Carter first.
all right, can we put that on the next agenda, Holly? As, old business?
Which would include, supplies and stuff that Holly and I are supposed to work on before.
Supplies. Are we talking like paper?
Everything, yeah,
Pens,
we should
paper
have
cups?
toner, whatever, all of it.
Well, the only thing I'm gonna, some of the, okay, okay. Some of the contracts that are out there, such as like the COA, do you guys have a contract with your own copy machine?
I think Holly was looking into that, so I don't wanna muddy the water with that at a
Okay.
meeting. But I remember she said something like she was asking everybody what they had and what contracts, and
Okay.
to just try to see.
TA signed the contract, I didn't sign it.
Okay,
And we have some of that in the budget proposal, and we can work through it.
understood. All right, sounds
I
great.
do understand. It means your departments are going to have to actually follow the procedures. That's the toughest rogue horse to rope.
Understood. Okay. Well, you're gonna work on that, Diane? Excellent. Awesome. All right, any other board staff comments? Yes, sir.
Just for the camera, for the media, I just want to point out that we had the pre-storm staff meeting today with emergency management, highway, police, fire. Chairman sat in, myself. I did reach a decision to close all non-essential town facilities tomorrow. That is to say, the administration, staff for Highway, Council on Aging, or Cemetery Commission, to close the senior center, the library, and this building. We've made some adjustments to the method of attacking the storm that will, I think, work out better for Highway. They've made some adjustments to their equipment fleet. We do expect, as of the 5:30 briefing with statewide, with MEMA, they are predicting up to 20 inches for this general area, Fitchburg West, up into 24 inches into the Berkshire foothills as you start to get past Greenfield and
Yep.
start getting up in elevation a little bit. We have sent a script for Code Red, asking all of our citizenry to think long and hard about whether or not they need to make that trip tomorrow, whether or not it's essential, and to please be sure to be off of our streets here tonight and tomorrow night, because they will be ticketed and towed. Police are not gonna have time to, scrape the license plate clean and figure out who it is and go knocking on doors. There's not gonna be
Right.
time for
I got
that in this storm. And the staff has been asked to, after they've finished enjoying digging out tomorrow, to try to be here just as close as possible to their start times on Wednesday. So we'll have those team meetings, probably throughout the part of the day tomorrow. And please all light a candle, say a prayer for our aging equipment. But I just wanted the board to know where we were headed. And
Okay.
I think we've got a reasonable approach.
I must say that before I got here, I got the, the Code Red call, and it was perfect. It was spot on compared to the one before, that was a little bit confusing for me. It was wonderful, thanks to the,
That's why we
all
sent them
of
a
you.
script this time.
Thank you.
And Dr.
Thank you.
Kazimierz already canceled school for tomorrow.
Yes,
They have.
yes, we
So-
will be keeping fire lanes, we'll be concentrating in terms of public buildings. We'll be concentrating the buildings and ground crew on the police, fire, emergency operations center. And they'll be coming past this building, library, the senior center, and the two schools, only to the extent to keep a fire lane open.
Okay.
And then also, if we do need the warming shelter, with the fire lane in there, we'll at least be able to punch it out a little bit faster and easier.
Okay, so the school will be the shelter if need be.
Yes.
Have you
if-
talked to
if
Mr.
need
Driscoll
be.
about any type of electrical operations in case of power outages and stuff like that?
They're feeling comfortable. What I'm told is they're feeling comfortable. I think the larger problem is going to be Unitil and others who feed into our grid.
Okay,
If those are down, your own Templeton crews can do the best job in the world, but if it's not getting into our grid, there's nothing that can happen.
understood.
And those crews, as you heard on that conference call between Unitil and National Grid, they're bringing in, if I recall correctly, upwards of 650 out-of-state crews to add to their own
Yes,
teams.
okay. That sounds like a good preparation.
I just want to say thank you to all the emergency personnel and police and anyone who will be working tomorrow to keep us safe. And Templeton Light always does an amazing job.
They
If
do.
we lose power, we're very lucky. So thank you all.
Great. Anything else, John, you got anything?
No, I'm good.
Doug? Good. Okay, great. A motion to adjourn? Have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? See none. John?
Yep.
Diane?
Yes.
Doug? Yes. And I vote yes as well. Thank you all for coming. Chief Dickey, can I see you for like a second in the office?